Good morning, North America. I'm going to talk about the old card trimming thingamabobber that everybody is upset about. There's a guy with a bicycle up here. He is in 2 lanes. And it's not the middle, buddy. All right, and I've watched a bunch of videos. I have multiple different understandings and opinions on it. But the one thing that we're pretty much all pretty sure about is card trimming is wrong. And because it's meant to deceive an individual or grading company in order to get a higher monetary return on investment based on the service work you do to the card, whether you're changing the tires or the oil, giving it a little bit of wax or not. Now, the people that say not cleaning surface, I would like to redefine cleaning the surface, because if you're wiping a card down, even with card care spray, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, what's the difference between that and me pulling out cards, going through them? Now my thumbprints are all on them because I have oily hands and I'm not using gloves, and I want the card to obviously present nice when I go to put it into grading. I mean, I don't see what the problem is with that. We restore comic books, we restore paintings. They all sell for big money. It's not a big deal, but the word restoration can also mean other things on improving a card, whether it's laying down an edge or something like that. If you're not cutting the card personally or coloring it, you can't do that either. I don't care. That has nothing to do with me. The card is still there. It's your job to inspect the card properly, but it's also the job of the grading company to inspect the card properly. Turn it sideways, flip it upside down, turn your thing down, flip it and reverse it. That's what they need to be doing. It's not that difficult to understand. But when people are like, the card has to be, it's an original thing. Listen, you can't make a rounded corner straight unless you cut it. You can't make an edge completely straight unless you cut it. You can't perfect centering unless you cut it. All these things always usually refer to trimming a card in order to get it to that current state. Collector's Dream Show does Mickey Mantle off. I don't know where that shows evidence of trimming or not, but multiple people said it did. I don't think they know. Cards were not cut exactly perfect back in the day. There are cards that are different sizes. There are cards today that are different sizes that come out straight out of pack and then they get returned for altered. You pulled it out of a pack. It's not altered. The manufacturer just didn't do the perfected job that they're supposed to do, and it got out. It's kind of like when you see star notes for dollar bills where it's a replacement. It's one of those things that at the end of the day, you could be completely honest and still be basically told that what you have is a lie. It's what it feels like. And then there's a bunch of people that trim cards, obviously, to submit them. They come back either authentic, they try again, or after a while they just basically break the card out of the case and then they sell it raw. And then somebody else tries to get it, and maybe they end up keeping it authentic. But somebody constantly keeps thinking they can pass a certification, unless it's a rare card like the 52 Mantle, like Collector Dream. I wouldn't be messing with opening and cracking that thing more than once to try to see what those opinions are on it. But if you trim a card, shouldn't that edge be fresher? And I know there's doctoring it up and stuff like that, but there should be a way to digitally test for age or wear. And again, this is where I know nobody wants to hear it. In the future, when they start better grading, or maybe even like a tag grading company that gets their AI really involved and uses some other scientific methods through a process where a person doesn't really have to touch it, maybe you can tell that something has been altered or tampered a lot easier. And these other card companies, this grading's a sham. It's a sham. At the end of the day, yes, I understand it's about getting the best of something. I completely agree with that. But we know how faulty these grading companies are with the human grading element, and especially with the new human grading element. And then we also have very viable data that grading card companies give people special grades, special attention, guarantee stuff. That's not a level playing field that we're on. So, I mean, the grading thing, because it's monetary, that's the business sense. They created a monetary platform in order for you to use their services in order to make this achievable. And we've found multiple times that these people basically are extremely faulty. whether it's somebody on the inside, somebody at the top on the inside, somebody that just knows how to get around and through it because they know the system, which there's nothing wrong with that either. If you know the system and you're able to get black labels because you know exactly what they're looking for, and you search and source only those type of cards, I mean, yeah, I can see that. But that situation with the one gentleman is, that's more of an inside job, it looks like. And they'll leave trading cards, getting black labels, listing. They're getting the stuff directly from a printer, and then they're specifically submitting it, saying probably if it's not a 10, don't grade it. If it's a 10, put it in a pristine. So they might send thousands of cards in, and then get 100 back that are pristine. We don't know that number. We don't know that relationship, and they're not going to open up and admit it because there's a buddy system working. All right, and the buddy systems worked great for a really long time. It's still working great. Just look at politics. All those people are on the buddy system. But at the end of the day, trimming a card is wrong. Recoloring a card is wrong. I don't care if you clean the surface. I don't care if you tap down an edge. I don't care if you rub down an edge. Now, if you're adding wax back to it and stuff, that's a no-no. You know, if you're attempting to alter the actual card without adding or taking something away, I don't have a problem with that. I don't see that being an issue. Because at the end of the day, we don't know what anything happened, if anything's happened to any of these cards at any given point. And yes, the majority of trimmed cards are vintage. And why do I say that? It's simple. It's been around longer. They were trimming cards before grading was ever even a thing, before it was even thought of, just to try and sell its shows as a better condition quality card. That's always been going on. So that's why you have so many of these cards that are altered, that are vintage. And at the end of the day, if you like the card and it's authentic, that's really what it comes down to, is authentic. If we didn't have grading at all, the biggest concern would be authenticity. That's it. After that, everything else is eye appeal, and then probably measuring it and stuff like that if you really want to care. Personally, if I have a Mickey Mantle that's cracked in half at 52 and it's pushed it back together and it's in a case, I'm happy with that. I mean, because I don't know another way I'm going to obtain one unless it's basically dug up out of dirt or fished out of the ocean at this point. But again, that's my thoughts on it. That's my opinions. Everybody gets their opinion on this, and that's what's great about this hobby. We have opinions. We have different ideas. We have different recommendations. Now, here's the other thing. PSA, and I'm sure the other grading companies have it. I just have only seen it on PSA. It has their basically anything they considered alter, and they created a level of terms that states when they would believe something is altered, and basically then label it altered. And let's see here, back on trying to hurt anybody. And who gave them the right to make the rules? I mean, they made the rules for the company, but why are we adopting that in the hobby? This is a third-party company. They shouldn't be controlling a hobby rule. But here's the thing: there's no hobby overlord that's basically saying we agree as a whole, we agree as a majority, we set these parameters forward, because there's no governing body. At the end of the day, the governing body, we've given it to the grading card companies at this point. Us, the people, no. We're within a cloud, let's say, of we want these things, we enjoy this thing, and then we have these businesses outside that are making all these rules for us, making these stipulations, creating these products to force us into them being in charge, where they can say, well, too bad, because what they're doing is increasing your value. They're increasing your desirability of your card. They're the card companies that make cards. They're the ones that are coming up with these ideas, making rarity. We're letting everybody else decide what our hobby is. We're not making that decision. Like, isn't that the opposite of how this should work? But then again, it's probably just like the government. You know, they make the rules. They tell us how much money we have to give them. If not, they threaten us, and then they take it anyway. It's just one of those things that it's like, where's the middle? I guess. Where's the middle? And how do, as a collector or an investor or a flipper, how do we control the hobby? Because right now, we're at the mercy of other people. Completely. Like, we can be like, oh, we're not going to buy this. Well, guess what? A bunch of other people are still going to do it. Like, have we ever tried to say, you know, For 1 week, nobody send cards to PSA. For 1 week, nobody send cards to the Beckett. Have we ever tried that? No. Why? Because everybody's trying to flip and make money so fast now. And that's a problem. You know, it is a problem. It's a great community to have. It's a lot of fun to do. It's fun to play the, hey, who's going to be the next hot thing? I like all that. I like the prospecting. I like trying to say, hey, this guy's going to have a great season. You want to be right, but you still need the right card. Because when I was listening to Mr. Mangini's thing, he basically said, if it's not a 10, people don't want it, especially modern. Basically, it's a 10. If not, it's a 9, and a 9 is as good as raw. How is that possible? Honestly, I think a raw card should be as good as an 8. But every card out of a pack is supposed to pretty much be a 9 based on standards. And we all know that that's not true. But we're letting them get away with it because we're only looking for monetary gain most of the time. The collectability on modern is very limited. It's a very tight window. And I know I jumped off from card trimming to other things, but that's how this hobby is. It always leads to something else. At the end of the day, at some point we have to take control. At some point we need to make true decisions. At some point we need to lay down a law. We all love Mr. Beckett. We think he loves the hobby. We all think that he can be our ambassador. I don't know too many people that don't. And I don't know what his opinions are on this. I know it's been going on for a long time. He understands that. There are rules set in place, but by who? Who makes the decision? You know, that's what we really need to find out, is what's considered faux pas and then what's considered okay. And I don't know who gets to make that decision, but it shouldn't be the new crowd, to be honest with you. It should be the older crowd, because they've been around for a while and they understand and have seen these so many different levels and changes of the hobby and the ups and downs. You know, we always say there's never going to be a spike like 2021. We don't really know that. There could be one in 5 years. I don't know. By 2030, there'll be another spike. That's all I'll tell you. I can predict crap like anybody else. And I love that too, when people are predicting stuff and they're like, maybe in this year, maybe the next year or the year after, this is going to happen. Yeah, that's how things happen. They just time. It's called time. So unless you're locking in a month and a date and a year, don't predict crap, people. That's the other thing that drives me nuts. I'm always loving this whole, especially the people with the whole stock market stuff that I follow as well. And they're always like, this is going to happen. And then the next day you're like, it didn't happen. And then they make their excuse for it. So again, guys, I'm getting ready to get to work. I actually enjoy all this. I think it's funny. I like the back and forth, the banter for everything. And I just, let me know your opinions down there. Hope you like this video, guys. And stay out of trouble, please. And I will be going to the National. So hopefully if you see me there, say hello. I'd really like to meet you. And take care, guys.